I can read your mind. I know you want to be rich, you want to be famous, you want to be powerful, you want to be a creative genius. But you might be having some trouble, so let's have a little chat, a talk about how you can get there and be that genius yourself. Good afternoon, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. Welcome back to the show. Today's video is about creativity. More specifically, how can you be creative, or how can you be more creative if you are already creative? So the first thing you need to do is understand what is creative. There's loads of different definitions out there, but the one that I favour is this. Creativity is the ability to come up with new ways of escaping the same old trap where your previous solution is now assured against. You see? So it's like a mouse trap. Say you defeat it once and then they make a new one, you defeat it again and they make a new one, and each time they make a new one they make sure your old solution doesn't work anymore. So you have to be creative and you need to think a new way out of that trap. So that's the way to be creative. Set yourself a trap, solve it. Ban yourself from using that solution, solve it again. And after you've solved it like 20-30 times, look back over all those 20 solutions and see the pattern, and you'll be able to see not only if you are creative or not, but you'll be able to see the improvements and how you are being creative, the particular strategy in which you are using. The second thing you need to know about creativity is this. It's not all good, okay? It's a little bit of a curse, like I'm a creative person, I have been since I was young, but it's not the way that I made money in my career. In my career, I was an office worker, you know, I was like a suit guy, a suit and tie, typing on a computer, sales kind of guy. Now, salespeople like to think they're creative. If you're a salesperson, apologies in advance. If you are creative and you make that work for you, fair enough. But what I found is in sales specifically, being formulaic. You develop one strategy, or 2 or 3 strategies, and then you just use those over and over and over, and it becomes a numbers game. It's manufacturing of results at that point. So creativity is not going to make you profit. It just won't. There's like virtually 0% chance that creative people make money out of being creative. Although, the reason they keep going, dear ladies, gents and Pikachus, is this. If you are one of those few people who make your creative endeavours successful, you'll be fucking hugely wealthy and popular, and you'll probably be like a billionaire by the time your life ends. You can see this all over popular media, especially in music, right? How many good musicians do you think you'll meet when you're at school, college, or whatever? Some of your friends, like I knew loads of people who had bands when I was young. I was in a band. We sucked. But we had a really, really good singer and a really, really good guitarist, right? Those two people were amazingly creative. They were fucking amazing at what they did. What are they doing now? Neither one of them makes money out of being creative. They both have office jobs, and they make money like that. So that's the other thing you need to remember about creativity is, yes, it's amazing and it is good in its own right, but when you're trying to monetize that creativity, you're going to find it very, very difficult, and then that encourages frustration into you, and frustration is the biggest enemy of creativity. For me to be creative, I need to keep a lid on my level of frustration. Now, obviously there's a million things in life that are going to frustrate me, and if I go to solve those things, I'm not being creative when I solve them. I'm picking up the phone, or I'm writing an email, I'm going back to the manufacturing of results, the formulaic strategies, and that takes me out of my creative mindset. So if you want to be creative and you want to get good at being creative, then I suggest the first thing you do is get yourself an income which doesn't revolve around creativity. It's an income where you just turn up, you do your work, you leave. You don't do any overtime, you don't do any extra effort. It's like minimal effort, like bricklaying or carrying bags through a shop, or filling bags, licking envelopes, this kind of thing. That will generate you a good income, or an income of some kind. And you can do it whatever state you're in. If you haven't slept, for instance, if you sat up all night drawing, painting, making music, being creative, and then you roll into work and you're like, fucking half dead, you can still do that job perfectly and you'll still get the perfect amount of pay. Then when you come home, you can then be creative, and you will not be paid for that, like I say. But what we should remember, ladies, gents and Pikachus, is without those creative people effectively sacrificing themselves in order that they can create something good, without those people there'd be nothing good on earth. We'd all just be communists. We'd all work in a factory for minimum wage, we'd all go home and have no food in the cupboards, we'd all be oppressed 100% of the time. So that's the conclusion of this video about creativity, is you might think that you're not creative, you might well think you are. But whatever your level of creativity, you can work hard, you can apply that formulaic manufacturing strategy to it in order to get it to go up and be better and more creative, and then you can actually have more opportunity to hit the big time and make the millions with it. I mean, I used to think I wasn't creative when I was really young, even though I was. I spent my entire life drawing, painting, making music, and figuring out creative solutions to the same old trap, you know. But I didn't think I was creative until I started working at being creative. And once I started working at it, I realised that it's 99% hard work and 1% inspiration. That's why people can't come up with a good idea like that, because they haven't tried hard enough. That 1% isn't going to reach you straight away. You need to do 100 times that effort to come up with that 1% inspiration. And then you need to do 100 times more effort to monetize that. And then 100 times more effort to make sure it's not stolen from you by some fucking capitalist pig. So that's the end of this video. In conclusion, creative people are good. Being creative is good, but it is not something that you are just born with or you're not. Creativity is a skill you can cultivate, you can work hard and you can get better at. And I suggest that if you're a creative person, you treat yourself as if you're not creative, and you work and you work and you work and you slave away on your own to make the fruits of your creativity known. And then you just keep working hard until you hit the big time. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. And here's something that will pickle your brain. You cannot be creative unless you're willing to self-sacrifice. So when you're going around thinking, oh, sacrifice, what a dumb religious load of bollocks, think, if you don't sacrifice yourself, you'll never be creative. So remember that, have a good time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!